For years, claims and counterclaims have swirled about what the Prime Minister Julia Gillard knew or didn't know about a union slush fund. The now infamous association was set up by her then boyfriend Bruce Wilson. He was later accused of misappropriating money from it. Julia Gillard has long denied any wrongdoing on her part.
This is the man whose story everyone has been waiting to hear. Bruce Wilson, former branch secretary of the Australian Workers' Union, ex-boyfriend of Prime Minister Julia Gillard, now at the centre of a long-running scandal over the slush fund he set up in 1992. He's been prompted in part to break his silence by the public pronouncements of this man, his accused partner in crime and self-confessed bagman, former AWU official Ralph Blewitt, who returned to Australia last week to make a statement to Victorian police about his role in the fraud.
Whose idea was the slush fund?
The mastermind of the slush fund was Bruce Wilson.
I would remind the Leader of the Opposition that the application to incorporate the association was signed by Ralph Blewitt. He took responsibility for it, his signature. The Leader of the Opposition should know that it is Ralph Blewitt who sought the incorporation of this association, signed the form and took responsibility for then incorporating the association.
Bruce Wilson, in 1992 you made a decision that would change your life, it seems now forever. You set up a fund.
That's right. It was the Australian Workers' Union Workplace Reform Association. It was set up with a series of objectives that would benefit the members, in particular of our union and union members generally.
Who helped you set up that fund?
Well, initially the discussions about the intention to set it up were undertaken between Ralph Blewitt and myself. We had an attempt to get it registered because of some technicalities that didn't take place. Subsequently, I spoke to Julia Gillard, who, as everybody knows, was a solicitor at Slater and Gordon, and asked her for some advice about what I needed to do to fix that.
You agree that the association was set up off file, that Ms Gillard didn't create a file officially?
Yep.
Combining that then with the existence of an intimate relationship and that she is indeed your lawyer and you're a client, looking back on that, do you see any sort of conflict there?
Not really, because it wasn't, as I said, people making it more complicated than it really needs to be. It's not that complicated. I tried to do something to get the association established. Didn't work because of some technicality. I went to her and said, look, can you fix it? Whatever it is that needs to be fixed. It wasn't a big issue. It wasn't like, oh, geez, let's call in half the Slater and Gordon crew. It wasn't. It was a simple matter that needed to be done. She did it. End of story. It wasn't complicated.
What was her advice?
Simply there was some forms that needed to be filled out in a different manner. It was a bit like going and asking, for example, this form didn't look right, that one didn't, what do we need to do? She made the necessary changes. I told her that Ralph was going to then re-lodge the forms. And she said, well, geez, if that's the case, I better fill this out. And that's where everyone makes a fuss now because she's got handwriting on the form. So,
what was your relationship with Ms Gillard at the time?
At the time, when was that, 1992? Well, we were in a relationship.
An intimate relationship?
No.
Looking back on that now, how ethical do you think that is for a partner of a law firm to be engaged in an intimate relationship with her client?
Well, I don't think it's an issue, to be honest.
Do you ever recall telling Julia Gillard that it was, in its true form, a slush fund?
I don't know if I would have used the word slush fund. I probably would have said something like, it will also be used to finance campaigns for union officials or people that weren't currently union officials that we wanted to bring into the organisation. Yeah, so perhaps, but did I use the word slush fund? Yeah, maybe, I don't know.
Was $100,000 or approximately $100,000 used from the slush fund to purchase a property on Kerr Street in Fitzroy?
Yeah, it was, yes.
Now, was that illegal?
No, not at all. It was the money of the association. It was not union money. It did not belong to the Australian Workers Union. Not 1 cent of AWU members' money went into that account.
If you did not receive any financial benefit from the operation of the slush fund, from the sale of the house that was purchased using the money from the slush fund,
Yep.
then where has all the money gone?
There was money sent back to the employers. I think
People were paid back.
yeah, on a particular date in August, I can't remember exactly when, there was a meeting at the Commonwealth Bank and a series of cheques were sent back from where they came. There was no fraud on my part, absolutely not.
If there was no fraud on your part, are you willing to go to police and provide a statement?
I haven't thought about that.
The Leader of the Opposition should know that it is Ralph Blewitt who sought the incorporation of this association, signed the form and took responsibility for then incorporating the association.